today. I don't like recording because then some of you are tempted to miss. I'm just not going to do it. Just trying to do it when people ask me. Okay, if you don't ask me, I'm not doing it. And you have to have a good reason why. All right, so this is an R curve. I'm going down 2. So it starts typically at 1, 0. So I'm going to go down 2. That's all I have to do. That's it. It doesn't move the asymptote. The asymptote is at 0. The asymptote only gets moved when you go left or right. With the J curve and L curve, the asymptote only moved when you went up or down. Okay, so this only moves when you go left or right. So I'm going to just do a regular R curve. You don't have to do any extra points. All right, what's the domain for me, Jack?
-2 to infinity.
Nope. Domain is the X, not the Y, the X. You're close. It does go to infinity.
Oh, 0.
There you go. Good correction. 0 to infinity. Okay, and we got X greater than 0. Range, does this go up and down forever, people? Yes, it goes up and down forever. Okay? You know why I'm so mad some of you didn't get the quizzy done? Those of you who didn't even get it done? What did you have all Friday? You had the whole hour. You didn't have anything else to do. Most people's average time to get done was 13 minutes. You had an hour. Okay? And you had this weekend. Okay? That just tells me you're being lazy. Quit being lazy. Okay? I can find you a job right now for lazy people. Because you ain't going to be doing anything that requires anything except for being told what to do. So you better figure out how to be motivated and work hard. Because otherwise you're going to get a job where people just tell you what to do. All right? So quit being lazy. All right. Domain is 0 to infinity. X greater than 0. Range is all real numbers. In behavior. All right? This, I tell you what the Y is doing. You get to tell me what the X is doing. So I'm telling you which tail is going up forever. Which tail is going up forever? This one. So look up at me. Come here. Focus. Look at eyes up. Does everybody see this? That's the tail that's going up forever. Now what is X doing? My question is, it's either going to the right forever, it's either going to the left forever, or it's approaching a certain number. What is it going? What's this one doing?
Going to the right.
To the right forever, to infinity. Now let's get to the next one, which some of you have already said the answer. I want to know the tail that's going to negative infinity. This is going down forever. So what am I approaching for X? Is X going to the left forever? No, what is X approaching? It's getting closer to this vertical line at 0. See that? Now, if there's a number there, that's the vertical asymptote because you can't cross 0, that electric fence. So that's a vertical asymptote, X equals 0. Write that down, X equals 0. Guys, that make sense? The x-intercept's where it crosses the x-axis. The best you can do here, because you hadn't even learned how to do it yet, and I'm going to teach you now. The best you could have done is approximate. You looking? The best you could say is maybe what? Approximately 2.1-ish, comma 0. That's the best you can do for the x-intercept. Like, look at this. Okay, you with me? Okay, so the best you could do is look at this and say, it's not quite at 2, it's a little bit to the right of 2. Do you see where I'm getting 2.1, Jacob? Like it's somewhere between 2 and 3. You just guess. Now I'm going to show you how for reals to do it. All right, you actually know how to do it. You just never done it. All right, you're going to take the equation when you do x-intercept. I'm going to put it in blue. You better write this down because this is important. X-intercept. You are required to do this. If it's an x-intercept, you're on the x-axis. What equals 0 from the last chapter? Come on. Y equals 0. Thank you. I'm going to keep hammering that. Everybody, x-intercept, what equals 0? Y. So I'm going to let y equal 0. What is my y up in my equation? Look up here. What's my y? F of x is y. Remember, f of x is what, everybody? Copy this down. So I'm going to have my equation, f of x is equal to log base 3. I think it's base 3, is it not? Is it base 3 of x minus 2? So I'm going to let y equal 0. So I'm going to take the f of x right here, and I'm going to let it equal what, everybody? So I'm going to go 0 equals log base 3 of x. We're actually getting into this today. It's called solving a log equation. We're going to solve a log equation. Everything I've been teaching you is to get you ready for this, because this is where you actually use it in the real world. Okay? Log base 3 of x minus 2 is equal to 0. Let's go back to 8th grade. I want you to think like 8th grade, mathematically. Let's keep it there. Okay? How do you get x by itself? What would you do? Just think like an 8th grader for a minute. Get the variable by itself. How am I going to get the variable by itself? Is there anything outside the house that I can get rid of? Is there anything outside the log house that I can get rid of? How can I get rid of the minus 2? Add 2 to both sides. You should be copying this down. So we got 2 is equal to log base 3 of x. Now, what have I taught you about log? What have I taught you about a logarithm to be able to figure out what a log is? Except for now it's different. I usually want to figure out what a log equals. Here I want to figure out what you're taking the log of. Tell me what you did when you figured out what a log equals.
3 to the
You went full circle, right? Go full circle and see what happens. Go ahead.
3 squared is
3 squared is equal to what?
x,
Just go full circle.
so 9.
So x equals what? We're way off. You drew it terrible. You drew it as terrible as I did. Look at my graph. I thought it crossed at 2.1. What does it actually do? So log base 3 is not very steep. It actually is very flat. So some people were asking me, what's the difference between log base 2 and log base 3 and log base 4 and log base 5? It's how steep it is. So this is a flat logarithm. This R curve is pretty flat. So it crosses way down here at 9, 0. Way down there. So it's 9, 0 is the x-intercept. Don't worry, we're going to practice that a lot because I like it a lot. Okay, so it's 9, 0. You were wrong. It's not 2.1. Sorry, Jacob. I know you thought it was 2.1, but it's not. Your eyeballs weren't so good. No, it really comes down to, are we going to be able to draw log graphs or R curves exact? No. That's why we need a way to be able to figure out this. Okay, this is actually used a lot. Engineering school over at NDSU. If you get into a specific type of engineering, which is manufacturing, which is plastics, NDSU is one of the leading engineering firms for plastic. Okay, and some of you are like, well, that's not very exciting. Well, they make plastic bags, they make plastic containers, but you know what? Why they're leading? They do something in Fargo, North Dakota at NDSU Engineering School that leads the country in a specific type of plastics, and they base it on what's called tensile strength, and it's based off a log curve. And they study log curves. And it's something that's really popular that Aiden does. Maybe he does. I'm just guessing he does. I think he does this. And if he didn't do this, he can't appreciate a logarithm. Ice fishing. Do you ice fish? Does anybody know what I'm talking about with plastics? Jack does this. Fishes a lot. You better appreciate plastics. Fishing line. NDSU is one of the leading places. Their engineering company that comes out of NDSU that's based out of Fargo is developing tensile strength for fishing line. Do you want fishing line? Have you ever gotten cheap fishing line, Jack? What happens to cheap fishing line? It breaks. He wants the best fishing line because it what? It doesn't break. Okay? And they use a log curve to increase the tensile strength. So if you're wondering, where is this used in the real world? Right in our backyard, they use it to determine tensile strength for plastics and to push and to make it stronger and stronger and stronger. They want that R curve to be flatter and flatter and flatter. Why? Because eventually what will happen, it'll break. Okay? So they want to flatten out that curve as long as possible. It'll eventually, I guarantee you, I don't care how strong your fishing line is, you can get it to break. Okay, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to push that breaking point as far as possible off. All right, what kind of curve is this one and how does it shift? How does this one shift?
It goes up 4.
It goes up 4. What else?
Right. Oh, left 9.
Left 9. We're going left 9. Everybody say left what? And then what? Up 4. Now, where does a normal, let's go to the normal R curve. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to put the normal R curve in red. Here's the normal R curve, ready? And it has a vertical asymptote at 0. I've got to move two things. I've got to move the asymptote over and the 1, 0 over. So let's start with the asymptote. If the asymptote is at 0 and it goes left 9, up 4, where is that going to move the asymptote? Does up 4 move the asymptote? No. What moves the asymptote? The left 9. The left 9 is going to move the asymptote so that your new electric fence is over here at -9. So draw an electric fence at -9. Draw a dash because you don't want to touch it. You'll burn your arm off. Okay? Now, I gave you the hint. The point is always 1 to the right of the asymptote. So if I go 1 to the right of the asymptote, where's my new start point? At -8. Does that make sense that 1, if you moved 1 left 9, it should be at -8? Everybody, does that make sense? That I moved that left 9, it's now at -8. But there's one more thing that has to happen here, Rowan. Since I know it's good to have you back. I went left 9, so that puts me at -8. But what else happened? Up 4, so you do need to move that point up 4. So I'm going to take that point. It goes left 9, and then it goes up 4. So there's my new starting point. And what kind of R curve do I draw? Upside down R curve. There it is. There's my R curve, peeps. Some people call it a C curve when it's upside down, but I'm not going to make you memorize any other names. All right, what's the domain for this? Listen, your domain is going to be based on your asymptote. Where is your asymptote, everybody, at?
So it'd be negative.
It's going to be -9 to what? And you can't touch that -9. That's off limits. X is greater than -9. Come on, guys. 37 days. You're going to blink, it's over. Okay? You're going to blink, you're going to be a senior. It's going to be crazy. Some of you are going to have a lot of regret about freshman year if you don't work hard here. Okay? What's the range? Double bar R. Why? Does it go up and down forever? Does it go up forever? Does it go down forever? Darn right it does. All right, let's see. Where does the right tail go up forever? Oh, be careful. What is X approaching? -9. All right, where does Y go down forever? Goes to infinity. We'll do the X intercept in a minute. What's the asymptote? -9. It's the same thing where your domain's at. It's the same thing as one of those end behaviors that you have to do. That -9 should pop up a couple of places. Do you see it? That should help you know that you did it right. Okay? All right, who wants to tell me what we do for x-intercept? I just did it on the last problem. Who can tell me what to do for x-intercept? What's step 1? You have to let y equal what? There it is. Everybody, we have to let y equal what? What is our y in this problem? I can just show you guys one problem and then just move on. You guys want to learn this? Let's go then. So we're going to set it equal to what? 0. Log base 1/2 of x plus 9 plus 4. All right, you're going to walk me through it. Outside the house, is there anything I can move? Think like an 8th grader.
-4.
Caleb, go ahead. Huh? Subtract the 4. Everybody minus the 4 from both sides. So you got -4 equals log base 1/2 of x plus 9. Now we got a log, but the x plus 9 is in the house. You with me? So how can I get rid of that log? How can I get rid of a log? I did it on the last problem. Go full circle to get rid of the log. All right, here we go. We're going to go full circle. 1/2 to what power? To the -4 power is equal to what? X plus 9. There it is. Who remembers how to deal with a negative exponent? Flip it. So 1/2 will become what? 2. So it's going to be 2 to the 4th power. See how easy that is? Just take the negative exponent and flip it. What is 2 to the 4th power? 2 times 2 is? Times 2 times 2. Good job, Jamie. 16. So we're going to have 16 equals x plus 9. What do we do now, everybody?
9.
Subtract 9.
What do we get?
X equals 7.
There we go. So what's the x-intercept? 7 comma 0. Did it look like I drew it in the right spot at all?
No.
Man, I was terrible. I was terrible. It should be, wait. What is it supposed to be? Man, I was brutal at this. So it went left. It was up. You were so close. I was not even close. Was anybody close? I mean, it's got to go way down here. That's what that arc, upside down R should look like. It's pretty flat. Reason it's flat, it's because it's a log base 1/2. Okay? All right, one more. Then I'm done with graphing. Come back and we're going to solve equations after lunch. Okay? It's going to be awesome. You're actually, today, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is easy. It's actually really easy today. Okay? You even will say that. You still probably won't know how to figure out what a log equals. But all right, here we go. What does this do?
Up 1.
Is it a regular R curve or upside down R curve?
Regular.
I'm only going to do the upside down for extra credit. Is that okay? All right, here we go. What does it do?
Up 1.
Wait, what's the -2 in the house do?
Right 2.
Right 2. Remember, you got to go opposite. Remember, inside the house, no means yes. Yes means
No.
outside the house. Yes means
Yes.
no means no. If the officer asks you, do you have your license? You better say yes. And if you don't have it, don't lie to him. Okay, +1.
Up 1.
Up 1. I'm the best at getting out of speeding tickets. I got 3 in 1 week when I was a teenager. Okay, that did not cost a pretty penny. But ever since then, I've gotten 1 more ticket in my life, but I've talked myself out of 5. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I have. I've talked myself out of 5. I wasn't going too extremely fast. When I was a teenager, I was going fast enough that they were not going to let me out of it. Now, my brother got pulled over for 105 and a 35. And he did not get a ticket because they were on a drug bust. And they asked him for information, and he actually had information that helped him. So they said, you're lucky, buddy. Okay. He knew a place where some people from our high school were meeting. We knew about it. My brother was not a druggie, but he knew the place that everybody met. It was called the Flats. I lived in the mountains. It was the only place where it was flat, and that's where everybody would go to get into shenanigans. All right, here we go. We're going to go right 2 up 1. We got an R curve. Are you ready? Got an R curve. Everybody, what moves, listen, we're going to end here. What moves the vertical asymptote? Going up or down or left and right? So right 2 is going to move the vertical asymptote where? 2 to the right. All right, you good with that? Now my point also has to go right 2.
The upstairs, no schoolometer, is at 75%.
Mine's at 100.
Whoa!
Mine's at 100%.
You're a math guy. Nothing can be 100%.
Wednesday's 100. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to go with 99.9. All right, so we're going right 2, but the 0.10 also has to go right 2. But the trick is, go to your asymptote and just go how many to the right of the asymptote. Does it make sense it should be at 30? 10 goes right 2, should it be at 30? Now, did it go up or down? Where do we got to move that now? Up 1, so we actually got to put it here. So here's my R curve. All right, domain, quickly. We got 3 minutes. 2, what? How about 2 to infinity? Is that what you meant?
Yes. Sorry.
X greater than 2. What's the range, everybody? Nobody better miss the range. Double bar R, very good. All right, here we go. Help me. Right tail. What's the right tail going to? Infinity. What's the left tail? 2. Very good. That means my vertical asymptote's at 2. See, that 2 shows up a lot. Don't you see it? All right, x-intercept. Who can tell me how to do the x-intercept? Set that equal to 0. 0 equals log base 5 of x minus 2 plus 1. Help me out here. What do I do first? -1. Good, you got it. -1 equals log base 5 of x minus 2. What do I do? Full circle. 5 to the -1 equals x minus 2. What do we do with a negative exponent? Flip it. That's 1/5. Now what do we do? Add 2 to it. Who can add 2 to a fifth? How about 2 1/5? Or 2.2 if you want. So we got 2.2 or 2 1/5, comma 0. Or 2.2, comma 0, because 1/5 is 0.2.
Can you go back to the equation?
Yep, I can go back to the equation. Come back.